before we get started, I was asked if I can show you this. You've probably seen it before, but for questions and feedback, etc., 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 you go to slide.io and #GeeCON. My name is Alexander Chatzi blah 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 blah. It's a little bit of a tricky last name. I'm half Greek. I'm half Dutch, half Greek. Or in Harry Potter land, I would be called a mudblood, I guess. I have a couple of hobbies. I like bouldering. I have a way too expensive Magic the Gathering collection. Though I have to say, I was really impressed by the amount of trading card shops here in Krakow. I was in London a couple of weeks ago, and there was like nothing. And then you come here and like 4 shops in the old center alone. So I was really happy. And I also play a little bit, well, a little bit. I also play a lot of games. Any other gamers here, by any chance? Oh, great. Yeah. So good to see so many gamers here. So I know in Poland, Dota is a little bit of a popular game. Anybody that plays Dota here, by any chance? 2 people, well, 3, including me. That's a little bit sad. Anybody that plays League of Legends? Oh, this hurts. Yeah, so I work at a company called JDriven. In the Netherlands, we're like with 30 people, consultancy, crazy about the GVM and stuff like that. And I'm going to talk to you about, well, IntelliJ. Who here uses IntelliJ? I don't know if there are any people from JetBrains sitting here, but yeah, this is what a monopoly looks like. Yeah, so roughly 1.5 years ago, I make games in my free time. I like to hobby making games, and there was this game engine called Unity 3D. Anybody heard of it? Anybody used it before? A couple people. So Unity 3D, they did like this full enshittification of their game engine, right? They tried to charge people per install and everything like that. And at that point, I was like, okay, I probably should use something else because I cannot use Unity with good conscience anymore. And then you start thinking, okay, what do I use? Do I use Unreal Engine or Godot, or do I write my own game engine? How hard can it be? And around that time, I saw a talk by Trisha G and Holly Cummins, which said, productivity is messing around and having fun. And I really agree with this statement. I do feel you're the most productive when you're having fun, you know, when you're in the zone, and before you know it, it is like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you were coding whole night, and you're like, oh my God, I could have been playing games this time. And then I thought about it, well, if productivity is messing around and having fun, that means I need to be able to really mess around and have fun in my IDE. That means that our integrated development environment should support games. At least that is the conclusion I came to. Maybe you would come to different conclusions. And then I started, you know, experimenting, fooling around, trying to see if it was possible to use IntelliJ as a game engine. So, of course, when you start projects like this, or hobby projects, you put a couple of rules of play for you, like things that you want to do or don't want to do. First thing, I decided not to use GCEF. Anybody knows GCEF or used it before? Okay, so GCEF is a Java Chromium embedded framework. So basically, it allows you to embed a Chromium-based browser within your Java applications, pretty much. IntelliJ, it looks a little bit like this. Basically, it allows you to open up a window and load in any HTML, any website, or any JavaScript without many issues. So then you can even play Wordle and get ads. So you can. There's going to be one day where I just type sort, because that's the word I try every day, and it's going to be good right out of the bat. But that day is not today. Anybody knows the word of today? So yeah, so that felt a little bit like cheating, right? So you can basically make any game using JavaScript, HTML, which there are like 1,000 frameworks out there that allow you to make games using JavaScript and HTML. Just host it somewhere online, and then you could just play the game in IntelliJ, which is a little bit of cheating. Then I am a gamer, as I said before. I really like playing games. Well, on the PC Master Race. And that means that I have certain requirements when it comes to frame rates. Not 30 frames per second, no 60 frames per second. Arguably, I would like to have 120 frames per second. Never mind that my screen only my screen is 60 gigahertz, 60 hertz, right? And I would like to show that indeed the frame rate in what you'll be seeing is 120, as you can see here. A beautiful value that says that the frame rate should be. But of course, that is more of a guideline, right? So you're trying to tell your engine or whatever, or your game, this is what I want you to render at, and it does its best to do that. Of course, we are programmers, so we like to make our own life as hard as possible, right? So no game libraries. So there is one very popular game library, the lightweight Java game library. Anybody used it before? A couple people. So that is arguably what the first versions of Minecraft were written in. So if you can build Minecraft with it, arguably it is a good library. But yeah, so we decided to write everything from scratch, or I decided to write everything from scratch. And if we're going to be using IntelliJ as a game engine, that means it would be really cool to have the code that you see being used as part of the game, like game assets, which would mean you can basically grab any repository out of GitHub or whatever and use it as the basis of your game. So when it comes to our stack, everything you'll see is written in the IntelliJ plugin platform. Anybody that wrote plugins before for IntelliJ? One person, cool, that's really cool. Who here knew that IntelliJ was written using Java Swing? Well, you do now. Who here used Java Swing before? Who? That hurts. So I have to say, coming from a game engine like Unity, and then having to work with Java Swing, it was a real experience, I can tell you that much. And I don't know how JetBrains does it. I don't know how they manage to maintain this Java Swing code base for, well, 20 years or more now. But they're doing it, and yeah, well, huge respect for that, of course. So yeah, and everything is written in Kotlin. Any Kotlin fanboys here? Yeah, Kotlin. It is maybe the better way to code on the JVM. Changed my mind. So yeah, that is basically our stack, pretty straightforward. And I mean, let's get to it. I have a question for you. Which game launched the video game industry? Who knows? Oh, some people were like, that's easy. Yeah, Pong. So yeah, I figured if I was going to make games in game engine, it should start with where it all started, Pong. And then you can see. And then you can see that you can play Pong between the lines, so to say. And yeah, it's a comment, yes. There we go. And yes, I've heard this one before, that comments shouldn't have physics. And very true, very true. And as you can see, you have some basic collision detection. You have some basic physics. I mean, it is all fake it till you make it. But it works. You see a ball, and you have two pads, and you can go from left to right. Though I did notice, after making it, that there is one of the two players has a significant advantage over the other one. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's a bit of a shame. But you know, I figured I would leave it like that and have it as a life lesson that life is unfair. So yeah, as you can see, basic. So you can do some basic shapes. You can inject your logic into the IntelliJ render loop. And then you can move things around up and down and have some really basic collision. So I'm basically continuously checking, okay, this ball, where it's the current point, and is it colliding with or intersecting with any of the bats? And if it is, I move it back or change its directional vector. I don't know how good your vector math is here. Anybody heard of vectors? And I'm not telling about embedded vectors that AI uses, but just normal math vectors. Okay, okay, great. Sorry, let's delete this again. And basically, all the games, everything you'll see today relies on a single class. And this is a vector representation or a point representation that I kind of stole from the Unity source code, which allows me to do some quickly do some vector calculations to, so let's say if you have a vector pointing like this and I see an intersection, I'll just can change its direction to there and have very basic collision detection. All right, so, oh, indeed Pong launched the video game industry. We saw that we can render graphics. We saw that we can have some basic gameplay. So then I was thinking to myself, okay, now I need to come up with more games to build, you know, keep pushing the bar. This was really the definition of feature creep, so to say. And then I thought, okay, I'm a backend developer myself. Who here is a backend developer? Okay, almost everyone. So I figured I'll just grab the biggest sins you can do as a backend developer and have that the theme for my games. So to that, I went to the next one, Space Invaders. Classic game, old game. Who knows Space Invaders? Who played Space Invaders? Who's played Space Invaders on an arcade machine back in the day? Those are the real OGs. So I figured, what is one of the worst things that you can do as a backend developer? Introducing state. So I figured I'll make state invaders. And I'm not trying to radicalize you against any states here. I'm talking about backend state, mutable variables, endless bugs. All right. So timetable is the state. And as you can see here, you can make beautiful ASCII-looking menus. I tucked the code there so you don't lose it, so you still have it there. It's so funny to me that IntelliJ still tries to compile these things. You would think at some point you're like, okay, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not trying. I'm not compiling this. And then, we can type start. And then we can even have a small cutscene. A little bit of introduction of the bad guy or whatever. Anybody that gets this reference? Oh, one person, two. So these are like the I hear So people that get the reference, they were on the internet 15 years ago, right? They were on the internet a lot. So this is the infamous all your base belongs to us. Beautiful meme. And now we have all kinds of aliens that shoot at you. I gave myself immortality because I'm horrible at my own games. And as you can see there, you can see the chance of production crashing is 80% now. And if I shoot one of the aliens, it goes lower. So it is 100% foolproof. And then you think, okay, but what are these aliens? Why is there a private string, whatever? So I go through the whole code base. I collect all mutable variables, so basically all variables that do not have the final keyword behind them. I collect them, and those are the enemies that you're shooting. So you are real life getting rid of the state in your code base. And in the end, the chance of production crashing is 0%, as you can see. No need for AI or anything like that, just some good old shooting. Now you say, okay, that's nice and fun, but what do you do underwater? Well, each variable holds a reference to the line that the variable is written, and when you destroy it, I go to the line, I just destroy it. I just remove it. So you would say, okay, this is fun little game, but I actually remove all the variables that you shoot out of your code base. Because we really don't like state when it comes to the backend, right? But thank God for Git, because then I can give the presentation multiple times. All right. So after Space Invaders, a couple of years later, there was a game that released on arcades that was super popular, and people say it was the real first system seller. So people really went out and bought a certain console just to be able to play this game. Anybody has any idea what that one is? A little bit louder? Pacman, yes. Or I like to call it Pacman with a K. Because what is another sin for backend developers? Over-reliance on packages, right? Just pulling things, images, dependencies, without really caring what you're pulling in, just using it, and at some point you're like, yeah, it works, so it's fine. Until it doesn't, and then you suddenly have this dependency that you cannot change or whatever, and it would have taken you 2 hours to write yourself. So I figured I'll make a little game around that. So yeah. So what's happening now in the water is I'm going through the Git history of the project. So I'm doing this using internal IntelliJ APIs. Going to the Gradle file in my case, but can also be the Maven POM file. And then I'm checking in which Git introduced dependencies. And then I can do start again. And then I parse all these dependencies and I make a maze based on the text of the dependencies that you're pulling in. So the more dependencies you have, the more horrible the maze is. Which is, I think, is an accurate representation of what your project looks like if you have like 300 dependencies, right? And then you have ghosts there walking, like Pacman. Those are the ghosts like you would expect them in Pacman, but I would like to see them as ghosts of our past mistakes, because they represent the Git commits of when you added the dependencies. So, for example, here I have added login framework for improved security in 2024, Log4j 1.2.17. Or something with AI, data faker, we've got to do something with AI. So yeah, they represent the mistakes we made in the past. Who knows the sound that Pacman makes? Waka, 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 waka. Yeah, right? Well, that is kind of copyrighted, I find out. So I did the next best thing.
Java, 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 Java.
Gets a little bit old at some point, doesn't it? So then, of course, you can navigate the maze to try and find and eat the ghosts. Now, I'll be honest, I found out after I made this, oh man, I'm stuck, ain't I? That, so this is completely random, and I may have added a little bit too many dependencies, which makes it actually quite hard to find one of the ghosts in the maze. So I should probably change this. But of course, what happens when you go to a ghost and you eat it, I go to the line in the Gradle file or the POM XML, and just remove the dependency out of there. I mean, you don't need it, or you probably don't need it. I mean, who needs a logging framework just using the console, right? All right. Oh, and as you can see, of course, so here you can actually see that every letter in the maze is letter of the dependency. So unit.upter.com, etc., etc., etc. And yeah, I mean, if you like it, you can commit it. So, yeah, before I continue, there's, when I give presentations or sessions, I always like to show explosions. I don't know if other people have that craving or not. Well, I guess now is as good time as any because we showed that we can have sounds, we showed that we can have some animations, stuff like that. So yeah, you can go here and you can blow up your code if you want. So here. And then if it's really pestering, you can keep going. And keep going. And keep going. So it was really fun. So I made this little plugin And then I showed my team, and then I told them to download it, and they downloaded it, and then suddenly I was getting like pull requests, like bug fixes, and I was looking at the pull request, and there was just one hole where the method was supposed to be with the bug. And then there's like, here, fixed. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right to some degree. And it's actually quite funny. I call it a feature, not a bug. I found out if you go to like a console window and you can even explode your console. So if you really don't agree with the output, you're like, no, 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 get out of here. So if you're running tests and the tests fail, you can just blow them up. Like, So, it's actually was more fun than I anticipated. And somehow seeing things blow up is always kind of, liberating or mesmerizing, right? All right, so a little bit of a step away from our theme. Anybody knows what another cardinal sin of backend developer can be? Any guesses? Try not to do front end. Yeah. I mean, I agree, but I probably shouldn't say it. How about, what is your opinion on, let's say, unit tests? Who here likes testing? Who here hates testing? Who here thinks it depends? So I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with testing, right? So yes, it is very handy because it gives you confidence in your code base before you push to production. On the other side, it takes so long, Jesus Christ. And I've seen it multiple times that, or I heard multiple times the words, "the test succeeds, so we can move to production." So there's this overconfidence that if everything is green, you can just go to production. What's the worst thing that can happen? So I figured I should make something around unit tests. And with that, and with the theme being, well, Sonic. Sonic is slightly trademarked by Sega, so I went with Sonic, definitely not Sonic. And the idea is to make something or a little platformer where you need to move through your code base, collect your unit tests, and eventually defeat the final boss. So gotta go fast. And in this case, to start, we need to type "we love Scrum." People are like, ugh, not another stand-up. All right, so here we have Dr. Velocitnik, which is the bad guy. So you can see we have also, again, a little nice cutscene. And he says, hey, I've stolen your unit tests, spread them out throughout your code base. If you want to defeat me, you need to find them, etc., etc. And Sonic is like, oh no, I need my unit tests. Otherwise, how am I going to do a sprint demo in 3 weeks or 2 weeks? It's going to be horrible. And as a good bad guy, he tells us that he's hiding in person.java. There he will crush us once and for all. All right. So now we are going through our code base. We're collecting all unit tests. We're initializing some things. And here we have Sonic. And as you can see, so every line is basically a platform in the game. And then you can grab these coins. And each coin represents a unit test. And then I can jump here. I'm getting better at this game. And then I can go something like that and grab this one. And then I really want that one oh, damn. Well. So there I lost my coins again. All right, and there I was dead, and there I died. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, scratch that about becoming better at the game. I surprisingly am really bad at the games I make myself. Oh, here we go. All right, and then, right, great. Then I really want to go a little bit lower. Cheese. There we go. So it was really funny when I make this. I was having this thought of having a Sonic game, and you go from left to right as fast as possible. You go through loops, and then I made this, and then I realized, damn, code bases are not very horizontal. Code bases are very vertical. So I scratched that, but yeah, I already had a lot of things written, so I just went with it. And okay, I'm so bad. And you can even if you go. I'll just go immediately. So good thing if you make your the games yourself, you can put in hacks to quickly go to the end boss. Now, as you can see, the boss has like a whole state machine and everything. And eventually he will fly back up, and then I can kill him because he has a weak point, like every good video game boss has. Who can guess what the weak point is? Yes. Yeah, I'm a good game designer. So yeah, and then he will come up, and then he will die. Hopefully, come to your doom. Yeah. Come. Yeah. There we go. Very difficult boss, and then he's dead. And then if we want, we can play around a little bit. And here you can see if you step on, for example, a constructor or a method, you can actually open a portal to another file. In this case, main.java, and you can move through your whole code base playing this game if you wish to. Or there we go. And then you can go to exec line where it's invocated. So like that, you can navigate through your whole code base seamlessly, I would say. Who needs control-click or whatever to quickly go to invocations if you can play a nice platform and to go from file to file, right? Of course, losing a coin has to mean something. We really need to build like some type of love and affection for your unit tests. And if you grab a coin and then you lose it, of course, I go to the unit test and delete it. Just remove it out of the code base. So basically, every coin, I use something called the PSI tree, the program structure interface in IntelliJ. It is really strong. Basically, it holds a tree of class, and this class has these methods, and this method has these variables, etc., etc. And you can walk the tree to find anything you need. That is also how IntelliJ quickly knows how to go from where methods are invocated and stuff like that. That is also why IntelliJ needs to index so long when it starts up. And these tests are basically part of the PSI, and then you can basically hold a reference and delete the whole unit test when you feel like it. So yeah, that said, I will put them back. All right. Before I continue, who here thinks they're a fast typer? I don't believe you. So a room full of programmers and nobody thinks they're a fast typer. Who here thinks they can type without looking at their keyboard at least? Okay, a little bit more confidence there. Who here thinks it depends? Okay, so what, who played Guitar Hero a couple years ago, like 10 years ago, stuff like that? A couple people, or Rockstar, you know, with the drums. Yeah, my mother hated those. So there's like this issue, and that was always there, but now with the rise of AI, it's becoming more and more prominent. I would argue, and that is people copy paste things into their code base without really checking what they're copy pasting. Right? Everybody's done it before. I've done it before. Nowadays, it has a cool name. We call it vibe coding. And suddenly that makes it okay for some reason. So I figured I would make something to at least incentivize programmers when they copy paste something into their code base to really know what they're copy pasting, and to kind of prove that they are a code rock star, right? So I figured I would make something called Code Hero. And it's based on a open source game called Osu. Anybody knows Osu? Anybody that plays it? A little bit. So this is how Osu looks when pros play it. Basically, you have to tap the circles on the rhythm of the music. But it being open source means all the beat maps, like all the data that represents when a single note has to be shown on screen, is also open. Which is really nice because then I can use it. So here we have, for example, there we go. So this is one of those Osu beat maps. And here you can see the timing point. So at these points or at these milliseconds from the start of the song, there's a rhythm being shown or a note being shown and something needs to happen. Yeah, so let's give it a try. Code here. And then let's say we want to paste something small, and we want to paste it here. We intercept the paste action, and we have to prove that we are real code rockstar. We pasted a low amount of text, so we're getting an easy song. All right. Okay. Time to show what I can do. And then we have to type the letters of what we are pasting one by one on the beat of the music to prove that we are no. So it's like when you're pair programming, suddenly you forgot how to type. Okay. Whew. Oh, I pasted it here where my cursor is. So here you can see new dummy class, pasted, and then you can finish the song if you want. So yeah, like this, you can finally prove to recruiters, managers, whatever, that you're a real code rockstar. Right? All right, so I'm a little bit of a metalhead. I don't know if there are other metalheads sitting here. Any chance? Oh, nice. Any people that really hate metal music? Okay, I'm really sorry for the for the upcoming 5 minutes. Because if we grab a little bit more text, for example, code hero, and then we try to paste this here. We have a paste action again that is detected. Again, we've got to prove that we are code rockstar, that we know what we're pasting, and we paste a medium amount of text, so we're getting a little bit of a harder song. There we go. Here we come, the army of the night. So as you can see, it's a little bit trickier, right? To get right. I won't finish the song. It's a 4-minute song. But of course, there was a medium song. And if we have a medium song, that also means we have a hard song. Anybody that can guess what the hard song might be? Immediately. Yeah, so there is one song famously being extremely hard in Guitar Hero, Through the Fire and the Flames. Anybody that wants to give it a try? Then I will make a fool out of myself. Again, time to prove we are a real code rockstar. We paste a significant amount of text, which means we are getting a tough song. Good luck. The good thing about Through the Fire and the Flames, though, is that it has a really nice long intro. It's a song by Dragon Force. If you hear this and you're like, oh, this sounds kind of nice, Dragon Force, Through the Fire and the Flames. All right. Gosh. So, if anybody can play this and 100% it, mad respect, because it's jeez. So yeah, I believe this is a very good way for programmers to finally, appreciate really what they're pasting into the code base when they have to type every single letter one by one. I hope you agree. That said, I did make it a little bit easier. For example, you don't have to type semicolons and brackets and stuff like that because they're all the way there on the keyboard. That's kind of far away. So I made it a little bit easier. Now, if you look at all this, I mean, it was super fun. And implementing it was also pretty cool. But this is a little bit the point where I start burning bridges. I don't know if anybody from JetBrains is sitting here by any chance. Okay, well, this is where I'll be burning bridges. Who knows the feedback sandwich? Anybody heard of it? So when you're giving feedback, you're supposed to start with something nice, then you give the feedback or criticism, and then you end up with something nice, right? So that's the feedback sandwich. So on a completely unrelated note, JetBrains did an amazing job with IntelliJ. It works great most of the time. Really helps me write amazing code. But that said, I have a couple of feature requests, which I believe are essential for their business if they want to continue in this day and age. For example, add MP3 support or WAV support. Right now, I have to do all kinds of resource loading, et cetera, which I mean, works, but it would be fun if we had internal APIs to do this instead, right? That is what I feel. They deprecated PNG support for some reason, so I would really love to for them to de-deprecate PNG support. And then they said, yeah, developers don't use PNGs or shouldn't use PNGs for the icons because, I mean, if you have a plugin, you typically only want to show icons, and icons are arguably better in an SFG. But if you're making games, you work a lot with so-called sprite sheets. So this is, for example, the sprite sheet for the coin. So it's one PNG image with every single sprite in the animation next to each other. And then I have a sprite sheet image loader, which is actually, it's only 20 lines of code that basically grabs the pixels with a certain X and Y and basically loads them into a byte array, and then you can loop through them using the render loop, which, I mean, it works really well. So I'm not really sure they really need to deprecate PNGs. And while we're at it, also at GIF support. I mean, let's be honest. I think 99% of intra-developer communication nowadays happens via GIFs on Slack or Teams or anything like that. I think if you look at our Slack at my project, it is really 90% GIFs of anything and a little bit of text in between. So I think they should just add GIF support in IntelliJ. I would really love them to give me some better GB color APIs. Now, what is GB color? So for the people that use Swing, that work actually quite a lot, you have like a color class, right? And JetBrains has its own abstraction over it called GB color, which is basically JetBrains approved color, so to say. So if you ask for gbcolor.red, you get the red color that is sanctioned by JetBrains. So if we go to gbcolor.red, so here you see that we have the aliens in state invaders at a red outline. Well, that's the gbcolor.red. But if we want to have a little bit of a darker red color, we can say darker, which is cool, right? Fun. But then again, if you look at this and you're like, okay, this is not dark enough, I need a little bit of a darker color, then you need to go darker. And then if you, again, it's not good enough, you're like, I need to go darker, 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 darker. And I don't know what you think, but I feel we have the technology to do this differently. Because underwater, it basically changes the hue. So we could do red with hue or something, and then you give a number, and then you're there. But I don't know. I mean, what do I know? It's, I'm not making. I'm not working on IntelliJ, so maybe there is some reason. But I would love for them to have better APIs for this. Now, what's also really interesting is how write actions happen in IntelliJ. So, not entirely unsurprisingly, whenever you type something or whenever you paste something, it goes in a write queue, and that write queue makes sure things are nicely put the one after each other, right? So you don't get overlapping code or weird stuff. That said, I, as a plugin developer, have no idea when the write action actually finishes. So I have to do all kinds of callbacks and checks to see if lines or code that I try to write is already there. And if I'm making games, a lot of times, especially cutscenes and stuff like that, you want to react to something being shown to the player. So a dedicated callback, like, okay, this is your write action, it is finished, go do whatever you want, would be amazing. The people that work with games before or game a lot might know this. We have game engines that have API. It's typically called the delta time. Or if you're a mobile developer, you probably heard this one as well. And the delta time is basically the time between that it took for the last frame to reach the current frame. So it's typically, if you have 60 FPS, it is at 0.8 or something like that, milliseconds. And as a developer for that, it's really important to know this number, because then you can make your game platform independent and FPS independent. That means speeds will always feel the same, even if your frame rate is higher or lower. So yeah, I don't know this. I'm completely in the blind with this. I'm just guessing to make sure that things seem frame rate independent. And as I said, everything does run at almost 120 frames per second. I triple checked it. I was very happy with it. I have no idea why EA, Activision, all those big game publishers have trouble reaching 60 frames per second on the PC. If I can reach 120 in IntelliJ, I'm pretty sure you can reach at least 60 on the Xbox or on a PC machine, right? And finally, what's also kind of frustrating is you don't really know what you see underneath you on the cursor. So if you want to get the color of the piece of text that is underneath you, you have to go through the PSI tree, ask, okay, what kind of keyword is this? Is this a variable? Is this a class or whatever? And then you have to go to the theme and ask, okay, I have a keyword here. What color is the keyword? And then you get a hex code back, and you have to translate the hex code to a color, which is quite a lot of steps. So, I mean, while we're at it, why not give me an API to do this quickly, right? So if you're going to take a picture of anything, take a picture of this, send it to JetBrains, tell them, hey, what gives? You're working on AI assistants and stuff, but important stuff right here. Yeah, but that said, people from JetBrains saw this, and they've been amazing sports about it. I remember talking to a UI developer from JetBrains a couple of months ago, and then they saw what I made. I showed them, and they were looking at me, and were like, "Yeah, what? Yeah, what you made shouldn't work." It's like, hey, well, that's not my fault. So yeah, so that was really fun, and I had a lot of fun working on these. So I want to give you one last thing with you before you go. Coding is your superpower. Don't forget it. Relatively speaking, there are not a lot of programmers out there. And with the rise of AI and vibe coding, I feel like dedicated programmers that really understand what they're doing is going to decline over the next couple of years. So yeah, coding is your superpower. Well, unless you have an actual superpower. And I implore you, don't use it wisely. Just go out there, just make whatever feels fun or whatever brings a smile to your face, just make it. And yeah, it can take a lot of time, but trust me, it's worth it, because the feeling you get when you have this crazy idea, you start implementing it, you start experimenting in, and then at some point you realize, oh, this can actually work. This actually can happen. That feeling that you get is just pure euphoria. It's amazing. So yeah, don't use your superpower wisely. Do whatever feels fun. Experiment around. Have fun. I really believe it's really important to have fun while coding. A lot of us started in this field just for the pure fun of it, right? Just going out there, oh, well, what if I can do this? What if I can do that? And just fooling around, messing around, finding out. And I do believe somehow along your career path, you can forget that feeling. So try to find that. I believe it's really important. So yeah, can IntelliJ be used as a game engine? Who here thinks yes? Yeah. Who here thinks, no way, man, what are you doing? Ah, thank you. Who here thinks it depends? So yeah, I think I've shown a really good new venture for JetBrains to earn even more money. But there's one last visibility check to do. Anybody can guess what that is? Again, immediately. And I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to be so smart. I'm going to see if I can run Doom with IntelliJ. Yes. Who here thinks that IntelliJ can run Doom? Oh, who here thinks, no way, Jose? Who here thinks it depends? But I mean, let's be honest. It was really not that hard to run Doom in IntelliJ. There's this open source project called Doom, which is a Java port of Doom. And once you have that jar file, it was really easy to just have Doom rendered on top of your code in your document within IntelliJ. It was a very violent game, wasn't it? Yeah. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it a little bit, had some fun, as much fun I had making this. So people have asked me, hey, can you release all the games on the plugin store for us to play with? Well, all the plugins was quite a lot of work, and JetBrains has quite a lot of rules on what you can publish and can't publish. But the explosion of the code, it's only control right-click. It's there. You can download it. You can play with it. Can't wait for you to send pull requests to your colleagues with just a hole in them, like here, code review this. And if you do, feel free to hit me up on socials, letting me know what the reaction is. There is a Twitter link, but I really not that often on Twitter anymore. So on Blue Sky, you can find me. If for some reason you want to look at the code of what I made, that's the GitHub link. It's all there, or basically everything except for the audio and some files that I was not allowed to share publicly. So yeah, if you want to take a look, go ahead. I've heard that it doesn't run out of the box, but if you have issues, feel free to hit me up and I'll help you along. Yeah? So yeah, thank you very much. And I think this is the moment where I switch here for... well, okay. Well, I answered the top question. Either go to the GitHub, download it, I can help you along, or download the explosion. Couple more explosions, okay? There's one, maybe there's a little thing, I call this explosion-based development. So if you go to a piece of code that is a little bit a little bit more than, let's say, normal. If you remember the old games, whenever you did an explosion, they calculated physics. And the more objects you had there, the slower the game become, because it had to do a lot of calculations. Well, I call it a feature, not a bug. But you can see this explosion is a little bit slower than the explosions I showed you before. And that is because there's just a lot of text that needs to be parsed. So with my team, I have the explosion test. If they write a lot of code and I do explosion, it's slower than I expected, I send it back. It's like, it's too much code, man. Split it better, do something else. This is just too much. So maybe I should coin the term explosion-based development. And the last question before I'd appreciate to doom the whole repository. When doom is coming, well, for the top question, ask JetBrains. And then, did I make sure the Pacman game doesn't block you in a fenced up part of the maze? Yes, the maze is always solvable, but I took a wrong turn when I was playing, and then I figured I should probably move on. But yeah, the maze is actually complete solvable. Is one of those maze algorithms. I forgot the name out of the top of my head that I implemented that can make you, go through the whole maze, and it's 100% solvable. And if I can make the project view do something, or just the terminal, you can actually, if you want, you can do stuff with the project view as well. That said, it is all swing components. So it needs a little bit of different logic than what I'm doing in the document or in the terminal view. But yeah, you can definitely do whatever you want there as well. So with that, I think I've answered all the questions. And thank you very much. I'll be around if you have any more